is a good day today.
My name is Douglas MacArthur. Uh, I'm from Alaska. I was originally born in Marysville, California at 6 months old. My mom is an Alaska native. My dad loved Alaska. He was in the military. That's how they got down there. And when I turned 6 months, he told my mom to pack the baby up. We're going back to Alaska. Her comment to that was, he's too young. My dad said, well, if he doesn't make it, he wasn't a keeper. Riding motorcycles, racing motorcycles. I grew up doing that. Raced boats, raced cars, flew airplanes, hang gliders, raced skiing, competed in freestyle skiing. I had a terrific childhood. So I bought a Harley Davidson, and it was a bike I wanted mostly because my dad had one. I had an uncle who was very close friends with the owner of the Anchorage House of Harley dealership, and they had built some motorcycles together. My uncle had built a Grand Champion motorcycle, and they built it in my mom and dad's living room. So, when you talk about how you grew up, and most moms would have had a fit if they came home and saw a motorcycle in 150 different parts all over the living room and couch and everything. Mom just thought it was normal, and she got involved too. I mean, she would help. So again, it was part of my upbringing. So I decided that the challenge that I wanted to take was the ultimate coast to coast. That's from mile marker 0 in Key West to the end of the road at Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, on the shore of the Arctic Ocean. I actually worked on the Alaska pipeline helping build that and the road. I know my way around that part of the country just like I would know the back of my hand. It's very doable. The most dangerous part of that ride is north of the Yukon River Bridge, where it turns to gravel, and you're dealing with the large trucks that haul materials to and back and forth from Prudhoe Bay. I met a girl in Sturgis that works in the motorcycle dealership. She was actually introduced to me, and she rides in all kinds of weather, and she's an amazing young woman. She's a Native American, and she has recently organized and set the world record for the number of Native American women on Indian motorcycles to ride in parade. 106, I believe it was. She turned me on to the Hoka and said that this is, if I liked long distance riding and challenging myself like that, that this was the ride for me. So I did some research, and it is absolutely the ride for me. And curiously, this year, the Hoka is from, I believe it's Daytona in Florida, to none other than Homer, Alaska. If you're going to ride a challenge like this with a name like Hoka to a place like Homer, Alaska, you really need an Alaska Native involved in this, riding an Indian motorcycle. And that would be me. I rode the motorcycle, rode the 500 miles off, brought it into the dealership, and they said, well, it's all set, works great, everything looks good. We'll see in a few months. It has to be at 2,500 miles for the next warranty inspection. And this was on a Tuesday, and I asked them to set up the appointment for me on Friday, and they laughed at me because they said, well, you're not going to ride 2,000 miles in 2.5 days. Rode off a little over 1,000 miles that day, and turned around the next morning and rode back the next morning, and pulled into the dealership in Sturgis and showed them the mileage and said it's ready for the 2,500. That was what I would consider an iron butt ride. So I believe that I can tick off 2 of these bucket list rides at one time. I can leave, timing it right, I can leave Key West, arrive in Daytona, and leave on Daytona. And this is the most challenging part, is the Daytona to Homer, because that part, as I understand the rules of the game, I cannot use GPS. I can't use electronic equipment. They will give us maps, checkpoints. The other thing is I can't sleep in a hotel. Now, the ultimate coast to coast, there's, I believe, enough time in that to have some sack time in hotels. But with the Hockey, that's not part of the deal. You sleep with your motorcycle. And I have no problem with that. But that, truly, that 10,000 miles is going to be the most challenging part of this double bucket list item that I want to achieve this time.
Now, why would you want to punish yourself like that? I mean, you must have some specific aim or cause.
It's not because I'm clean and sober, which I am. Most people don't know about this, but more women disappear in Alaska than any other place per capita in the United States. In fact, on the North American continent. People need to know about this. This isn't right. To have women disappear and not have this as national news that's a crime in itself. And most of these women are Native Americans. And because I have an awful lot of female members of my family who have suffered abuse, I think that this is a good cause. And that's what I'll be concentrating on for my fundraising. YouTube is the platform that I think is the most powerful to use.
Every year, more and more disappear without a trace. Used to be a federal case. We cannot hide on a motorcycle ride 10,000 miles until we're done. It's a good day to die. Oh God, hey, let's ride today.
The Hockey. It's a good day to die. We're going to produce a YouTube channel that will post videos on a regular basis of the ride. We'll use that to spread the word about the ride. We'll be live streaming the ride. We'll have a camera set up on the bike. We've been working hard on this. I'm hopeful that the board will appreciate what we're trying to do. I think it's a terrific opportunity. I'm ready for this challenge. There's no guarantees in life, but it's a good day to die, and I woke up. So obviously the Great Spirit thinks there's some things for me left to do. A young girl whose name is Malala stood up against the Taliban in Pakistan, and at the age of 15 she was shot in the head by the Taliban.
There's a moment when you have to choose whether to be silent or to stand up.
Malala remains in intensive care. She was shot in the head for daring to suggest girls should go to school.
They attempted to kill her because she was standing up for women and girls in Pakistan for education and women's rights. Obviously that didn't sit well with the Taliban.
Malala's life changed forever on October 9th, 2012.
While on her way home from school in Pakistan's Swat Valley, a group of armed Taliban boarded her school bus, asked for her by name, and shot her in the head.
She survived that, and at the age of 17 won the Nobel Peace Prize, fighting for women's rights.
I tell my story not because it is unique, it is the story of many girls.
The Nobel Peace Prize is to be awarded to Malala Yousafzai.
Now, if a 15-year-old girl can fight that sort of an epic battle, there is no reason why we can't do the same thing.
Girl who gained international headlines 2 years earlier for speaking out for girls' education through a blog she wrote under a pseudonym.
When I see my name in the newspaper, I feel that, yeah, God has given this honor to me and I shall accept it.
We've got to get this under control. Women disappearing, indigenous women disappearing is not acceptable.
Indian tribal courts lost authority to seek criminal jurisdiction over non-Indians. That means tribes can't criminally prosecute non-Indians for anything, not even murder. American Indian and Alaska Native women living on tribal lands are murdered at rates more than 10 times the national average. In 2020 alone, there were 5,295 reports of missing American Indian and Alaska Native women and girls, according to the National Crime Information Center, and this crisis hasn't gotten any better in the recent years.
So hopefully we'll be able to raise some money and raise the awareness for that. This could be the first Hoka live stream, but again, it will depend on, obviously, number one is my ability to convince the board to get me a spot on that ride. But two, I still need to work out the details if that happens, which I hope it will, to work out details with the board as to how we can do this together and make sure that we meet the high standards of the Hoka board and also meet my personal standards, which I think are going to be pretty high. We want to put the word out about this problem. We want to raise money and awareness for it, and we want to do it in a way that honors those who are missing. Tomorrow will be my 72nd birthday. So walking around on the planet for 72 years have taught me a few things. One, don't back down from a challenge. My dad and my mom both taught me that there isn't anything I can't overcome if I just put my mind to it. Hence, all of the things I've done as growing up. My first flying lesson, I was 10 years old. How many kids can say that? So, I've flown planes, flown hang gliders, done all of these things, and done them actually pretty well. I've skied on my 50th birthday. I landed a double back somersault on skis. I'm in very good shape. I will have to get in better shape for this ride, but I don't have any problem doing it. It's going to be fun. In fact, a few months back, a company that I really enjoyed working for, a native-owned company, called me and asked me if I would be interested in coming back to work for them on the North Slope, and I just did that. So I'm in good shape. I get around fine. I love riding motorcycles. Let's go do this. I'm sorry that I missed that deadline, but this is my home state you're riding to. The Indian motorcycle is, it's a legend. It was the first motorcycle company in this country. I will be riding an Indian motorcycle. I am Indian. I'm an Athabascan Indian, and I will get there by using the old Indian trick. I'm going to be just hard to stop.
Am I still in this world?
It's a good day to die. Oh God, hey, let's ride today.